Look, we got more Ash than this movie had.
Groovy. It's not a word you'll be saying after you watch this movie.
They really missed out on the opportunity of having Bruce Campbell in a garage in a black void saying groovy in a post-credit sequence. I think that's really
pretended it really tied in.
So we just saw the Evil Dead Rise 2023 film, etc., etc.
We both went in like not having even seen a proper trailer for this.
Yeah.
And even then, you knew who the main Deadite was going to be because the poster says right on it, "Mommy loves you to death." So it's like, well, I guess I know who's going to be the main Deadite. No real twist to that.
Well, basically, I went in with no expectations. I thought
and you
it was
left with less.
Well, I thought it was going to be similar to the remake that they did, and it was. It was pretty much exactly the same. I would say a little bit better, but if your expectations are to have an awesome Evil Dead movie, you'll probably get an okay one. An okay. It's not. It's a time
if you
in a
want
theater.
like you want a kind of dour possession movie, that's kind of what this is.
Yeah.
Like the very last bit of it, I could say felt Evil Dead-ish. But I mean, then
which
the
was what
movie's
the remake
over.
did, basically. It was the same movie. I did a vlog about the Evil Dead remake back when it came out. I barely remember it. I feel like I was kinder to it than maybe I think of it now. I haven't watched it since, but it is kind of similar to a lot of these remakes in that they don't really understand what worked about the original, and that they're trying to make kind of a dour bloodfest. A lot of what worked in the Evil Dead movies is the humor. Like, even the first one wasn't intended to be funny, but there were a lot of funny moments in it. And even there were things in it that I think were intentionally funny too. They were doing like Three Stooges bits, but with blood.
And even still, it's like most people, I'll say most people's favorite Evil Dead isn't the first one. It's usually
it's the second one. Yeah. And the second one's super funny. But even if you're going to try and ape the first one, the things that worked about it, like the crazy camera angles or the great special effects or even the different kinds of Deadites, is not really here. They were trying some camera angles. I will say that they were doing
They're doing
some
a lot of
camera
split
moves.
diopter shots.
Yeah,
they were showing that off.
Yeah, they were definitely like trying things, so I don't think they were like half-assing the movie, but I do think like some stuff is missing from the formula even without Ash. I think you could probably there's not a lot of color in the movie, but I think you could probably make an Evil Dead movie without him that still has the same feel that they haven't quite gotten in either of these movies.
Yeah, I feel like there's a balance there. You don't want just like a flat-out comedian in there trying to be funny the whole time. Even though, sometimes Bruce Campbell can lean in that direction. But it's like, it's a difficult balance, I guess, because they haven't hit it right with these movies that are too serious, and then Ash versus the Evil Dead, which was too fraternity bro humor.
Yeah, I don't think even Sam Raimi and Bruce Campbell or Rob Tappert remember what works about Evil Dead.
Apparently.
But no, I didn't hate this movie. It was just kind of what I expected, which is kind of a mid-tier horror movie. And I think like they lost something too with forgetting that there were different kinds of Deadites, because all of them seem pretty similar in this one. You didn't have any like weird stuff. Like you had Linda, was kind of like this painted porcelain doll kind of thing. Would talk like a baby and tease him. And then you had like Ed with the big teeth that was chewing on him, and like not all of them were laughy ones, and I feel like all these ones were laughy ones.
Yeah, they're all kind of the same. The real twist, I guess, was at the end. Yeah. They kind of form a weird, Silent Hill-esque creature, I guess, being all fused together.
Yeah, you laughed when that happened.
I did, yeah.
But that's at least, like, within the realms of Evil Dead, because they had, like, the giant apple head monster at the end of 2 that had all the faces in it. Even Ash was in there, and he wasn't even... he wasn't even part of it. But so that was kind of in line with it. I think like there were moments. Yeah, I think like the woman playing the mom was pretty creepy. She has like a really big mouth, which I think worked for the smiley bits that she was doing. I just think like she was the only like memorable Deadite. The rest of them were kind of throwaway.
Mm-hmm.
And they really, like, threw away the neighbors as well as Deadites. They really didn't do anything with them, and I thought that's what they were going to do and save the family till later.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, they just kind of came to life after they're dead in the hallway for a while for a brief moment.
Yeah, I don't know. If people are looking for recommendations, I mean, I guess temper your expectations is really my thoughts on this.
Yeah, I was left with what was the point when we left, because, I don't know, I don't feel like this adds enough new. It's not really that fun. And that's kind of what I want an Evil Dead movie to be. You know, it can have some gruesome bits, but I want fun in there, and largely this is devoid of that.
Yeah, that's true. I don't think it was very fun. I did appreciate that as opposed to the remake, they were doing something different with it. Having them stuck in an apartment. It was like that one Critter sequel where they're all stuck in the apartment building. They only had the wraparound segment that had to do with the cabin in the woods. And honestly, it feels like a tacked on thing that they did because they were like, oh, people expect that in Evil Dead movie.
When you like when that came up, I said to you, like, is this Evil Dead or Cabin Fever? 'Cause it's like you barely spend any time with them. And there's only 3 of them, but they act douchey right away. Just like, why? The guy's like peeing. It's like, cool. This is Cabin Fever.
We got 2 peeing scenes very early into the movie. They had to meet a quota on that one.
Yeah.
What in the world?
It was weird, like Bruce Campbell's cameo was on the pregnancy strip after she peed on it. She saw his face on there and he said groovy.
Okay.
And she's like, no, I'm pregnant.
Even when I watched the remake in theaters, and Phelan hasn't seen it, but when I watched the remake, and they had that bit at the end where he just turns at the camera and goes groovy, it's like, okay, so they just filmed that as an obligation thing because people were complaining.
It's just obligation.
It's just obligation. They filmed it in a garage, and so fittingly, the finale of this one takes place entirely in a garage. I don't know. I think like they were trying some things different. I liked that they played the records on the turntable. Some of that sounded kind of creepy.
How the turntable.
It was a middle of the road horror movie. Like when they had the opening credits thing, and then the girl comes out of the water, and then the Evil Dead Rise comes up behind her. It was like ridiculous.
Yeah, made me laugh.
I wish the rest of the movie was kind of like that, and at least you could like laugh more, because I feel like a lot of the laughs from the first original Evil Dead were unintentional, and that's why they leaned into humor. But
yeah, I wish, I don't know, like maybe the sister was kind of a more funny character when she got going.
I wish that they just varied the Deadites a bit, and then you have like different things that they're encountering instead of feeling kind of like the same thing but different actor.
It was weird. They set up like the power goes out at one point, which they're not very consistent with, but they say like to get out of the building because those stairwells also collapsed or something, that they'd have to take the fire exit, but it doesn't go all the way down. They have to go through this abandoned apartment. It kind of sounds like, oh, this would be like this creepy trek through there, and then they never go through that.
No, I wonder if they redid the ending or something, or if that was because it seemed they were going there and then they took the elevator and did something else.
Yeah.
And they set it up earlier in the movie too, so it kind of feels like they changed their mind on something.
The elevator bugged me because they head for the elevator, even though the power's still supposedly out, but they see the elevator opening and closing. I'm like, is the power out or isn't?
I don't know, maybe it was the Deadites fucking with them.
Yeah.
That's how they get the mom. I didn't really understand how they kept losing each other in this apartment.
Yeah.
Like, it's largely takes place in the one apartment in the building, but they don't use a lot of the building. It's just the one apartment. And characters are doing things in one room and another room really loudly, but no one's hearing them in the next one. And then, like, other people will, like, they had to have passed them to get to their room or something. But, like, the older sister is wandering around getting possessed in the kitchen this whole time, and no one's even checking on her. Like, it's weird how people are not able to notice each other and then lose track of each other in this single shitty apartment building.
This apartment building was apparently built off an old bank, and like an earthquake happens at the beginning, and then just it opens up a hole to the old safe where in a safety deposit box the Necronomicon was.
I don't think that's what it was. He thought it was a bank vault, but inside
it's supposed
it was
to just be like they hid it away in there?
Yeah, because I think that's what the priest was talking about. They hid it away. That's why there was all these like crosses and stuff there, and I think it was like a tomb that they'd put it in, like with some sort of protection around
the
it.
tomb in the bank.
I don't think it was a bank. I think he thought it was a bank, but because why would
I like
think
to
it's
imagine
some
it
old priest
was
vault?
like I'd like to put this in the holy room where bury it, the evil safe, keep it away.
No, I mean in the 20s, did they have big vaults like that for evil safes? I don't know. I don't think it was literally supposed to be that, but I'm not entirely sure.
Is this in its own continuity? Like, did Ash happen in this world or no?
Oh, I don't know. It might be like the remake where they just kind of pretend if you think it is, it is.
They had to get a new Necronomicon because, like, those DVD sets, the old one fell apart.
Yeah. Stunk up their apartment and then they had to get rid of it. All of the, like, remember this moments were annoying and unnecessary. Like, I get maybe like saying Dead by Dawn or Swallow Your Soul or whatever, the Deadites seem kind of consistent in that, but there were a lot of things like we were calling in the theater, like before she says come get some, like we knew that was exactly the line they were going to throw in.
And it's not been a movie like that up until that point, so when they start doing that, it doesn't feel earned. Yeah,
well, because like the reason it works is because of Ash's character. But we don't really, I don't think I really knew much about Beth's character, who's sort of the final girl.
She was.
Yeah, so I don't know if we kind of know a little bit. There's kind of a family and motherhood theme, but it feels like that was something that was thought of and then not fleshed out very well or changed as the drafts went along. Because it is a theme, but it doesn't feel capitalized on very much.
Yeah, the biggest theme really is just trapped in an apartment building.
And it could have been something cool. They could have been going through that abandoned apartment while they were being chased after, and then there's other people they encounter who are Deadites, and then you have an apartment building full of Deadites, but they don't really do that. It feels like a pandemic production where you have barely anyone. I don't know how early they filmed this or if they just didn't have a lot of budget, but it did feel very small.
Yeah. Just setting up that abandoned apartment building and then never seeing it felt really odd.
Like I said, I didn't hate it. I just thought it was kind of what I expected, which is the middle of the road.
Yeah, it's not like, oh, this movie makes me so mad. It just, I guess, kind of...
Why?
Yeah, why? I mean, I didn't have my hopes up, so it wasn't like I don't know what I expected. It was kind of what I expected, but I'm just like, I would hope for better, but this is what I expect out of them. Just like, why can't they hit the Evil Dead tone again?
Yeah.
Because that's what makes it different. Like, this could have been like, the evil haunting of apartment 305 or something, and you'd be like, okay. Like, if they didn't have any of the slight Evil Dead references in there, the movie could have been called that and be like, oh, okay.
That's true. It didn't feel very Evil Dead. That's all I gotta say about it. Short vlog,
Is it something you would watch again?
I mean, I wouldn't seek it out. It's kind of like the remake in that way, where it's just like, I don't really feel like rewatching it.
Yeah.
I guess I would, but...
But it's not like you're strongly compelled to, and that's kind of the issue. It's like, we'd watch Evil Dead 2 a bunch of times again over that.
Sure. Well, there's a lot of interesting cinematography, practical effects, funny moments, even things that are unintentionally funny in the second one as well, because they kind of bungled some stuff. It's really interesting to watch, and there's lots of different details, and here it just felt like a very murky 2020s horror film. And it could have been more.
Could have been more. Give us a real Evil Dead thing again.
I don't know.
It doesn't even have to be Ash. Just give us a real Evil Dead again.
I don't know. I wasn't mad about it. I knew what I was getting into, and I guess that's what I'll leave people with. Like, if you saw the remake, you'll know what you're getting into. It might be an alright time at the theater.
If it's empty and you can mock it.
Yeah, that's true. Bye!